I'm trying to do this as independently as possible, meaning not directed necessarily at Democrats, not directed necessarily at Republicans, just really independent synopsis of my journey. It's where I've been led through in almost isolation, slight social convention, and like when they let it happen. But I'm listening to this, and it says this Channel 7 News. It has these snippets of it's going to rely, the message is it's going to rely on all levels of elected officials. Here's the thing, I don't have a chance to vote. I don't know what voting looks like for the average North American, but within my life frame, since I arrived, I only am able, they allowed me some vote when I was 18. They said I had to register to vote, which I followed the man at the front of the room. His name was Mr. Flood from St. John's Preparatory School in Astoria, Queens. They made us fill the card out, otherwise he was going to fail us. So that was like, yeah, okay, but like what's Democrat? I'm like, it didn't even really make sense, and it wasn't taught. And then that was it. They took the card, and then it's like every 4 years they put somebody on television and they say that you have a choice between that person or someone else. You can either vote Republican or Democrat. I don't know what a primary election is. I don't know what a midterm election is. They haven't taught these things at all in New York State. So now they're saying that we have to rely on these elected officials. I didn't even elect these people. I don't even know their process. How did they gain access to a ballot system? How did they put themselves in the front runner position? How are they maneuvering or manipulating this? So I'm watching, and they're like, so now you gotta rely on your elected officials. But I didn't elect anyone. I didn't interview anyone. I didn't have a conversation with anyone. Nobody's even acknowledged I exist in New York. But yet there's this whole system they're working within in New York State that I don't have access to. I mean, is that how the voting system works? Every 4 years, someone else picks two people that you have no idea their qualifications or what they're all about. They throw them up on the television, and it's like, go in and push a button and just say you participated, so we know that you're live and that you participated. I mean, that doesn't make sense. But that's how it's working at the moment. So then it comes up with this abortion issue. And the abortion issue now, the messenger is Letitia James. That's her real name. And she's up there today. She's what's called an attorney general. No idea how she got that position. And she's now what? I didn't elect her. I did not elect her. I have not spoken to this woman. I don't know how she got in office. I don't know why she has a voice. I don't know why my voice was silenced. But I'm on this YouTube just documenting my real life journey of how New York has treated me from childhood to adulthood in I don't know how to participate. I don't know how they're participating. And I don't know what's running this system or machine at all. And I don't know who's involved. It's just the other scary thing. This is what they sound like. Because now if this is, and then I go to The View, And on the one hand, there's people like Letitia James who are well versed and well educated on this system that they've overrun and infiltrated and have installed somehow, while sitting and oppressing us and taking my voice away for certain and my mother's voice. I mean, I don't really see my mother getting much of a voice, or myself, within this life frame.
Governor promising to sign a bill to safeguard abortions and protect providers from out-of-state lawsuits. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, at least 26 states will likely ban or severely...
Now, I don't even know what this is on. Certain or likely to ban abortion, and here's the states. I'm not in one of those states. I don't know what that means. Does that mean I need an extra layer of protection because something's wrong in my state? I already can see the signs of how I've been quieted. My freedoms have been taken away already. My voice has been taken away already. And I can see who the participants are that stole the show and stole the ability. And this one is the Guttmacher Institute right here. I just don't know what hand to hold and who to ask for help in the situation.
Severely restrict access to abortions. The president now using his platform to push candidates ahead of the midterm elections who support abortion rights. Biden saying if the court does overturn Roe and this issue goes to the states, it will fall on the nation's elected officials at all levels of government to protect a woman's right to choose.
Right. For a woman's right to choose, is that regarding motherland to fatherland? I mean, that's like our most basic governance and protection, which is what Supreme Court is supposed to uphold, is it not? I mean, if I sit down in my chair by myself in my time out room with nobody else around and I go, okay, let's think about this. I'm God and I'm trapped by humanity. And humanity's taken away my voice, my reproductive rights, my ability to marry properly, all of my freedoms. They've enhanced some society. They've overstepped their boundaries. And I need to get a message out to the other gods from elsewhere that I'm being held from. And they actually have ability and power, and my powers have been taken away by some humanity. How do I get this message through to the other gods? And how do I make sure I am crystal clear on I need help and I don't know how to inform them of just how disgusting this world has become in where they dropped me. So here we are.
President Biden also warning that this could go well beyond abortion to other freedoms. And with primary season officially underway, we had Indiana and Ohio last night. This is messaging you're going to hear early and often through November. David and Lauren.
Alex, thank you. The battle over abortion is dominating the headlines right now, but access to places that perform abortions is already severely limited in parts of the country, with many women having to travel out of state to have the procedure. Eyewitness News reporter Candace McCowan with some more now on some of the women revealing their own stories, including New York's Attorney General.
We're hearing more and more stories from women who've had abortions, some of them traveling hundreds of miles for access to services.
I came to this issue.
Now, this is what's calling itself a Democrat. This is also what's calling itself an attorney general. This is not my elected official. I don't know who put her in. I don't know where she came from, what she's about, or how she got there. I don't know her supporters. I don't know her campaigns or non-for-profits. I have no idea who built her in to this position?
In a very personal way. I was in this place. I was just elected. And I was faced with the decision whether to have an abortion or not.
It's an emotional story to tell, but New York State Attorney General Letitia James is sharing the moment she had to make a difficult choice.
And I chose to have an abortion.
That was almost 20 years ago, but the access that AG James had at the time is quickly fading for women in different parts of the United States. In Oklahoma, they've banned abortions as early as 6 weeks, and Republicans promise access will only become more restricted. Nicole, who's a single mother of two, saying it wasn't easy, but she had to make it work.
Now this is strange, because now they're putting my name in the headlines, even though it's not my face, but doppelgangers being what they are.
I can barely make ends meet at the moment. I'm willing to do whatever's necessary because there's no way I can afford another baby.
The fear of losing access making a hard situation more difficult for many women.
My decision hasn't wavered. It's my body and it's my choice.
New York now vowing to help women from across the country. Candace McCowan, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage, and be sure to watch our special In the Balance, where we dig deeper into the...
Now, that's one piece, which, again, with the thing, it kind of balanced itself out as far as I can see, but I don't know what comes on the back end of that and billing and whatever. But I don't watch The View. I really don't. I don't like them. Nothing against Whoopi Goldberg. I actually really do at times. Whatever. But she's kind of like Samuel L. Jackson. Like, I have my fury. But, which are few and far between. But then there's just so many others that complicate the situation. And so, whatever. So now I couldn't help it. I was eating my lunch at the table and Lynn's watching it in the living room, and I can hear the angry, educated venom coming from its mouth. Not Whoopi, one of the other things that's at the table. And just their over-education and their wanting to be heard, and now them thinking that they're part of rulemaking, is a real problem. Because my voice has been taken away, and they're overruling and causing even more problems, and then cleanup wants to take care of them, and then they're like, no, I'm part of the solution. No, there's a white woman sitting in a chair somewhere that's had her entire life stolen by people like you, getting a louder, more strong voice, while taking away all of her freedoms. So there's something out of the balance, and I could clearly see them on the news program where they put themselves. So this is how The View portrays it.
Becomes how employees of the court operate. That is an incredible threat to our independent judiciary.
Somebody inside the court itself leaked a confidential internal draft to the press, almost certainly in an effort to stir up an inappropriate pressure campaign to sway an outcome.
Well, let's be clear. Nobody knows how this happened. They don't know whether it was on the floor. Somebody came by and said, oh my God, I got it. So nobody knows what happened. So we can't say it's the left or the right. We don't know.
Right.
Nobody knows. Okay, let's start with that. The question I have for y'all is, who do you think benefits most from getting this out there now? Is it the left? Is it the right? Is it the middle? What do you think?
Earlier this week, we just talked about how Biden has a messaging problem and he's failing miserably in the midterms. I think this failure started from the way that he pulled troops out of Afghanistan, and people loved him right before that, and then it started to go downhill. Biden is really long on promises and short on delivery. Imagine if you go to a restaurant and they tout the best thing on the menu, and then all of a sudden when you order it, they say, oh, that's sold out. Like, that's what Biden is doing for a lot of people, especially black people, who he got 90% of them to vote for him, but hasn't passed the George Floyd Policing Act.
Oh, whoa, big red flares. So now you're only voting for this guy Biden. That's one of my special dads. And then you're gonna what? Hold his feet to the fire and have, like, put his life in danger if they don't give in? I mean, like, how is that part of the police job work? Because I can see this message all over the dangerous part of state communications inside New York City. I'm just saying. It's everywhere, and it's unacceptable. This is not the way, like, it's not, I elect you, and this is, I mean, yes, there's setting expectations, but the bar's been off for a while. I mean, this is the unacceptable. This is what, I mean, like, she's, like, Mayor Adams is, like, in charge of making sure this doesn't get out of control, as far as I can see.
He's saying the.
You think Biden did it?
No, Biden can use his executive order. He can use different powers. And that's the same thing with this abortion issue, because he can do anything like end the filibuster. But why doesn't Biden want to?
Why'd they invest in Dave and Buster's? I'm just curious, because that was like a arcade game restaurant that they put right in central Islip, right off of 454, which was Veterans Memorial Highway, over by MacArthur Airport, where on the other side of Connecticut State Park. Just curious. One of my stations of the cross.
Don't want to end the filibuster in order to push this through, because Biden knows that the filibuster has been used by Democrats 300 times over the last 6 years. Biden knows that Chuck Schumer is one of the people who use the filibuster the most, and so Biden doesn't want to look crazy and lose his election seat and know that he's in the midterms and not really having anything to run on. So a lot of people
end the filibuster.
I don't even know what they're talking about. I swear to God, it is like watching. It's like watching an alien race. It really is. She speaks some other language of urban culture that I was not allowed into. And when she speaks, I'm like, what did it say? Like, what does that translate to? Like, what does that really mean? Because it frightens me that it's so aggressive.
By himself? Yeah, he could sign an executive order to end the filibuster. He actually can. Huh. Yeah. That's.
What's a filibuster? How does it know what a filibuster is? Was that part of her education? Because if she was educated inside the United States of America, I was not given the same amount of education.
That's what I'm saying. Who is he supporting? His base? Because there's no big stance that Biden is taking to say that I'm going to do this for people. So he's garnered all these votes, and I know he had a huge infrastructure bill.
With the leak.
Because I'm saying that he is not supporting the people that are voting for him. You guys say that there's polls showing, Pew Research polls.
I don't listen to polls.
Okay, fine. Well, most people in this country say that people should have the option to choose what they want to do with their body.
Right.
Biden is not willing to get rid of the filibuster. He made a statement yesterday saying, this is bad, but my hands are tied, or this is bad, but I can't really do much. And that's not true. He can do plenty. And so he's choosing not to do much. And once again, what is he running on? I'm asking you, what is Biden standing for?
The aggressiveness frightens me. This aggressiveness, like, I need an Eric Adams to stand in front of me and I'm just going to hide behind him and go, I don't know if you speak this aggressive politics, but it sounds DMX Rough Rider to me.
And I'm asking you, can you answer my question?
Yeah, well, let me answer.
Can you answer the question first?
I'm so much less concerned with who leaked this than what was in the leak. And I think Republicans and conservatives have been working for 50 years for this. And now they're...
Is that the point 50 years ago when Linda's Title IX was violated the first time with the U.S.? I'm just curious. Because my Title IX has also been violated. And some of this really aggressive politics they've been performing has gone, like they themselves they've taken all of the money, education, opportunity, and have not allowed me my Title IX, my civic, like, learned credits. I mean, there's been, it looks like very little to no effort has been made to rectify the issue of they're way too overeducated and they're keeping us out of the conversation completely and out of social convention, no less. But yet Title IX's been violated and I don't hear anything being spoken or whatever. And it's about 50 years. That's about Title IX-ish. When women's rights came on the whatever, not quite sure, because 50 years ago, was there still a New York? I don't know. I don't know who's in charge of it. I mean, again, I don't even know where to find these facts out or who to rely on.
Playing victim. Now they're crying out, who leaked it? Who leaked it? This is what they have wanted. And I think our reaction needs to be, who cares about who leaked it? We care about what was leaked. We care about the fact that women's rights are now no longer protected. And we now know that the Supreme Court is politicized. What we need to think about is, where do we go from here?
Who are the loudest ones at the table today? Just think of that. Because they're the ones with the voice, and they're the ones that took advantage of every opportunity that was stolen, while my Title IX was totally violated and continuously gets violated. And how do you figure out who is who? Oh, it's clear. We got very loud voices at the table, and they seem to know what and who and what words to use and what to fight for, when I've been walking around for the last 43 years going like, anybody seen a guy, white guy, over 6 foot that I belong to, somebody that I can look up to? Anyone? Because that's how quiet, I mean, like, if I even knew what to ask when someone showed up that was over 6 foot, it's like, okay, you might not be the guy, but, like, do you know other 6 foot people? Because they don't really exist in Long Island or New York. They're really rare.
Supreme Court, if this draft opinion does become the opinion, is now saying it's up to the states. We now need to codify a woman's rights to her own body. And I think the way we do that is we legislate. There was a Women's Health Protection Act,
But
right?
we don't have the votes.
You don't have to
We
vote.
don't
Exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to.
We
and
do
Biden
not.
won't get rid
We
of the
do not have the
filibuster.
votes. But Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski are now saying.
It feels like a sales pitch. Like they're prepared with a plan, an action plan, a strategic plan. They've had time to plan. I have been walking around going like, okay, I knew when I was little I was really cute and that, like, I really deserve to have a nice husband. I was told this several times. I took whatever Lynn and Lou and the school offered, like as far as dance and as far as being in some show. I always tried to participate. I was always willing, like, to be found, but I just did not work out in, I don't know what happened, but I know somewhere someone else knows. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And the thing is that this then comes back down to free speech. At some level, it will boil down to brass tacks and leisure tax and public health care as to what is the free speech worth. Because they've just silenced me in ways that are really hard to explain without putting myself in jeopardy again, it feels like. But then again, at some point, there's double jeopardy that comes into play. And then there's vindication. I'm the one sitting alone trying to figure out where my opportunity in life went and how I wound up here in this collapsing star system. And the beginning of this, it even says, they're like, oh my God, did you do that for me? Meaning Star Wars. And between Whoopi and the two loudest women at the table. I'm just like, it's identity thievery. But it's also at some point taking responsibility. I just don't understand why it's not being rectified in the correct, swift justice manner. Here it is. Here's their reference.
Today's my daughter's 16th birthday, and it's May 4th, and I ran into her room. I said, May the 4th be with you. She was like, you've been telling me that joke for like 16 years. I thought it was
That's
so
a mom joke.
funny.
It's funny the
so
first
good.
time, not the 10th.
It was so good. So thank you for sharing
birthday
that
to
humor,
Paloma.
right?
Happy birthday, Paloma.
I think it's so good.
You
Is that like the human papilloma virus? I'm just curious, because there is an HPV.
Well, he's not here.
Where is he?
Oh, where did you put him?
Her little,
Don't get me in trouble. I'll explain later.
Yeah.
But the co-host of Daily Blast Live, Lindsay Granger, is back with us at the table.
What is it?
It's the Star Wars logo, as the viewers looks very
And they need
nice.
to run the credit.
And it says VI, and then it goes, ew.
Credits back like this.
That's right, that's right.
I love it. I thought that intro was from me being here. I was about to say, wow.
Well, it is, and we were just startled because, of course, we didn't realize that was happening, and then I couldn't find my baby Yoda. He's not here. I don't know.
Where is it?
I don't know. He's always back there.
I was wondering.
And he is not there now.
This is how they toy with us. Specifically Whoopi.
All right, that's okay. That's okay, y'all. I can take it. Okay, so now we have to get serious.
Yeah.
She's also said before that she's been cast as God a couple of times. She's been asked by whatever studio. So therefore, that's how I know she must be part of the Samuel L. Jackson fury of some sort. Since at somewhere they're like, I only need one example. Okay. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.